Welcome to the Exposer. Right now, things are very, very, very bad for Spac Nation. But behind the scene, there's been a lot of recruitment. I'm talking a lot of young people have been recruited. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, Spac Nation have a group called the 3Gs at Spac, which is basically a group of the young pastors or the young leaders. So that could be from the age of 17, 18, and possibly up to like 20, 21. But it's a lot of young pastors. And their mission is to basically recruit other young people, because it's a strategy that's quite easy to manage, where they'll have someone already young approach another young person, and that young person will see that the Spac young pastor or the Spac 3G member will be dressed up very nicely, wearing an expensive watch, and basically looking like a very successful young person. And automatically, it's easy for a young person to be joined into Spac Nation when they are promised that this will be them if they join Spac and decide to basically believe in the Spac Nation way. And they have recruited a lot of young people during these periods, a lot of them. So this is time to actually get serious. And I know there may be a few who feel like if you join Spac, then you're silly, or if you join Spac Nation, then it's your fault. But people need to understand that the methods that Spac Nation use, it's very hard for young people not to fall for the trap. It's very, very hard. Because most of the time, when these young leaders approach these young kids, they don't tell them they're Spac pastors or Spac anything. They approach them and just ask them, just have a normal conversation with them and exchange contacts and tell them. And then they would invite them to the trap house where, of course, the young people will go there and see a big house, see how everyone's happy, everyone's excited. And then that's where they will get more personal and talk about deeper things, and it's easy for a young person to get attracted to wealth, especially when they feel like this could be them. And so it's difficult for these young people who are in those circumstances. So people need to understand their way of recruiting is not by saying they're Spac Nation members. They would approach people just in a normal way, just having basic conversation with them. And they know that most young people will fall for the trap just based on their appearance, the designer clothes that they're wearing, and the watch and the cars that they're driving. But I want everyone to see it as this could be any member of your family. It could be any member of your family right now that Spac Nation leaders are targeting. So instead of judging the ones who end up going there, we need to look at it from a different view. We need to know that Spac leaders have a way of winning people. They know that with all the exposing, it's harder for them. This is why they always find a new way of doing things. Because of all the exposing, Spac Nation are doing things in a low-key way. But today, they had Samuel Kokia, the new lead pastor of Spac Nation, with all of the 3Gs. And I have the video. I'll play the audio because I don't want to play the video for legal reasons, because there could be kids in the videos who are under 18, and there's quite a few. So you guys can see what's going on. There's a bunch of new kids who are introducing themselves and basically talking about what they do. And this is exactly what Spac Nation have always done when they recruit. They assemble these kids together with all of the leaders at Spac so that these young guys will look at the wealth and be mesmerized by that. That's how they do it. And it's very, very easy for a young person to fall for that. So people need to understand again, we shouldn't judge. We should not judge these young people. The people who are responsible for this are Spac Nation members, because they know what they're doing. They are trapping these young people, and young people are naturally ignorant. They're very naive to a certain situation. Even if they've heard rumors about something, they're only going to go about what they see. And what they will see at first hand is a leader of Spac Nation being very polite to them, offering them food, bringing them to the house. This will make them believe that Spac people are not what they see online. And what makes it even worse is they'll have these leaders who've been exposed go and talk to these young people and tell them that they are not what people are suggesting online, that they don't do these things. This is the kind of rubbish that Spac Nation leaders do. So we need to understand time is very, very serious right now. We need to figure out a plan to stop this from happening. These people have been destroying people in our community for a very, very long time. And it's very, very serious. And like I mentioned, we're not talking about adults. We're talking about young people, young guys with a bright future ahead of them. Young people who may not be responsible enough to make certain decisions yet. These are the ones that they target. And this could be any member of your family, and you won't even know. Because if you have a niece or a nephew who happens to go to Spac Nation or happens to go to the trap house, most of the time he won't tell you or tell his family members. And Spac will find a way of getting these young people to almost distance themselves from their friends, just so that they're not influenced from the outside. So people must understand, Spac Nation is an organization that's run in a very, very organized way when it comes to recruiting. When it comes to recruiting members, they do it in a very organized way and in a very flashy way. So we must all come together. We have to raise awareness of this. People are almost hesitant to do certain things when it comes to Spac Nation in terms of speaking out, because they feel like everything they've done or everything that's been done in the past hasn't resulted to nothing. But we've already told you what it's done. But the problem we have right now is people are almost taking their foot off the gas a little bit. We're still fighting. And I tell you guys, believe me, there's things going on behind the scene that will shock you. We've told you before, and we're telling you again. These guys are not comfortable, but they still have to do what they always do, because this is the only way they could generate an income. It is the only way. So if you get a bunch of people who happen to believe in the Spac way, they will start to give what they have. They will really believe in what, if they do believe what you're telling them, they will start to give everything. That's what goes on at Spac Nation. You guys have seen how the pastors look up to the main pastor. So can you imagine? It's the same way some of these young people look up to the leaders. It's the same way. So this is a serious, serious situation. They are still recruiting young people. They are still recruiting a lot of young people. And it's time for us to really raise our voices. It's time for us to raise more awareness into this. We really need to do this. We're doing a fantastic job right now with everything going on. Everyone is standing up for a cause. But we must also fight to make sure the people who are making us look bad are held responsible for their actions. So here I'll play the audio of basically new young members of Spac Nation inside the trap houses introducing themselves, and to Samuel Kokia. I won't play the video for legal reason, because like I mentioned, there'll probably be people who are underage in that house. So just for that reason, I won't play the video, but I will play the audio.
Michael is coming. I think he's just going to drop something off. So I'd like to welcome leadership of the second generation, and I'll do that.
I'm in school, in college first year, studying politics, economics and sociology. Other than that, I do graphic design and web design.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
I'll also go back to college and then hopefully take it further and get my own firm.
Okay.
My name is Sade. I'm 17 and I study art and design at CWC.
So, oh yeah, that's true. You drew a picture, right? For we had an artist Sunday. Art Sunday. I remember that picture. That was fun. Welcome, Shadi.
I'm a biomedical science student. I'm graduating this year and I'm going to study medicine in September.
I thought you had something that you was running, my science.
Oh yeah, so myself and Mr. Manuela have started a business together, and it's called My Student Tutor. So it's right now just me and Manuela, but it's going to be a group of university students that will go on to tutor younger students through A-levels, GCSEs. So right now we're focusing on the sciences, so physics, chemistry, biology, and then we also tutor in SACs for Key Stage 3 and 4 students.
And I'm in uni, I'm studying aerospace engineering.
Awesome. Obviously, these are the.
My name is Duke, I'm 19.
All these people stunning that they're making money on. This is the real money maker. Weekly salary.
I'm trying to become a mixed martial artist, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, awesome.